Hey everyone, this is Cody with the Shenanigamers podcast, and I'm here to let you know that we had some technical difficulties with our audio this week. We are still learning, and we ask that you please bear with us and listen to this week's podcast because it's a doozy. Thank you guys for your patience and time. Make sure you tune in next week. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Shenanigamers podcast. I'm joined here by Felix, Cody, and Frank, and today we're actually going to do our first movie review of the Justice League Snyder Cut. Felix, what do you think?
I really liked it. I thought it was way better than the original Justice League that they came out with, by far.
Yeah. Alright. Sweet. Cody, what do you think?
I'm very lukewarm on it, although I do think it is vastly improved over the 2017, right? When it came out, 2017 Justice League. Yeah. So that movie was like a dumpster fire.
Real quick, I forgot to do this. Spoiler warning, if you have not seen the Snyder Cut yet, it's not too crazy from the original Justice League movie, but if you don't want it to be spoiled for yourself, go watch it and come back. That was your
4 hours later.
Yeah, 4 hours from now, come back and listen to this.
Alright, it's a good 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with my plan of the Justice League, it's a really big improvement from 2017's movie.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, the last, first couple minutes, I was like, I was drenching, I was forcing myself to watch it, and I was passing out.
You're falling asleep on us.
Yeah, I was. To be honest, I was falling asleep, but it got interesting to in the middle of the movie to near the end. So it was just a long, slow time, but it catch up to me. So I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a huge improvement from the horrible movie we got in 2017. This one was it was kind of everything I was expecting and more.
It was a lot more.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how much more they put into that movie, and I love what they did with every character getting kind of their more backstory that I feel like they should have gotten before they even did a Justice League movie. Like for instance, Cyborg and the Flash, they went deeper into how they basically came to be discovered, and I like how they did more for Cyborg in this.
So not only did they add newer scenes, they added scenes that were cut from the original. Because in the trailers for the first one, you see that scene where Superman comes down talking to Alfred.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he said you'd be here.
Yeah,
be back or something. Whatever Alfred says, and that would never showed up in the movie.
Yeah, and then
the Whedon cut.
Yeah, the freaking Whedon cut.
Yeah, and Zack Snyder came out and he said that he didn't use any of Joss Whedon's footage at all. He just used exclusively his footage and footage that he reshot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it shows.
Yeah, it definitely shows.
Yeah, there are some parts where the CGI is really mean.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think the worst CGI scene that I noticed was when it was kind of their last showdown with Steppenwolf, and Wonder Woman going over Steppenwolf, and the light reflects back at her. Her sword flashes with his axe, and she's doing a front flip over him.
She's flipping over him,
and you see her face, and it's just so bad. It looked like 360 graphics for that split second, but otherwise the movie I thought was good.
So for me, the worst CGI that I saw was at the end when the Flash is running towards Cyborg.
And Cyborg's face.
It's so bad. One. Oh god, it bothers me.
that was another one.
That was the worst of the CGI.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice, because they said that some of the CGI was a little whack.
Yeah, I feel
like only two moments where I was
I feel like in the slow-mo segments, the CGI, the poor CGI, shows. Because, if it's decent or good CGI, you don't really notice it most of the time. But if it's bad, you notice it. And for me, it was always in the slow-mo parts.
Yeah, I didn't notice it at all. I thought the CGI was fine.
Yeah,
they didn't want to take longer working on this.
Yeah.
He wanted it out.
Yeah, it was mostly good. There's just a few parts where I was like, ugh.
Yeah. So I love Steppenwolf now versus in the old movie. In the first Justice League, he was such a little baby.
In the first one, he didn't seem that big of a threat. He looked weird. His armor was just what?
Yeah, his armor looked like shells, conches or something. But and now he looks.
It looked like it didn't fit him in the first movie. Like, his armor was small.
He looked so human too. Like he didn't look like an alien or anything like that. And then like you see him in the new cut, and he looks like a beast. Like his armor looks
awesome.
cool.
His armor, I like how it works.
Yeah,
like when the Amazons are shooting arrows at him, the arrows would get, like, armor would catch the arrows, and he would just be like, eh.
Yeah, and then the arrows would just
awesome.
get cut in half or anything. Yeah.
It was really shiny armor too. It was kind of distracting for me.
Yeah, like I
didn't really care for it.
Like the light reflections look really good. I was like, wow, that's really
I love
good.
the spikes when he was going to like battle mode.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like I was expecting. So you remember in the scene where he first comes out of the mother box and all the Amazons are like piling up on him? What I really wanted him to do is just like spike out his armor and just kill them all in one thing. That would have been so cool.
What I liked in that scene is that in the original one, immediately the boom tube opens, and then the hair demons come out and start blasting right away. And this one, I like that they come out and they're having like a little standoff, and he comes, and he starts talking, and they start having a little monologue with the queen. I like that a lot better.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, and I love how like in this one you find out Steppenwolf's an outcast, so he's doing this to get back in like the ranks with Darkseid.
Yeah, he actually has motivation in this one.
Yeah, so I thought that was awesome.
They say it like what's his name? The guy Steppenwolf talks to most.
Desage.
Desage, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Brain fart.
Oh yeah, I was like,
brain fart.
You're the DC guy. I was like, I had to give you the name for that guy. But...
Yeah, brain fart. All right. Anyways, when he's talking to Desage, I lost my train of thought now.
So just so you guys know, we're fresh off the movie. Like we literally just finished up the movie like 20 minutes ago, and we're just getting into this. But Darkseid is in this movie.
Confirmed.
He looks amazing.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool.
And he sounds just like the animated Dark. Not just like, but like
he sounds like
Darkseid. Yeah, he's like if you were imagining what Darkseid would sound like in a movie, like that's exactly who you. Like how you would want him to sound.
Mm-hmm. On a point of note on the Darkseid, I love and Desage and Steppenwolf. I love that you see that they're like somewhat of the same kind. You know?
Yeah.
They
look the same. Yeah.
Because the whole Darkseid's whole thing is that with the Omega powers he has, he gets like stone faced and his skin darkens. He's gray. And in this movie, you can see that Steppenwolf and Desage they're kind of the same.
Yeah, they're like a lighter gray, but. Darkseid is still like you can still tell it's Darkseid. You know, there's no like, oh, is that him? Like it wasn't like the point where you're like, oh, who's who? Like they all look like their characters.
I will say I took notes. That I do feel like there's the color palette is very dark in this movie, and I understand that it's like a creative choice.
Yeah,
but I just don't like how. A lot of it felt really gray. Even though there was color in the movie, obviously, like, there's reds and blues and everything.
What parts felt gray?
Like, the ending, it was just, like, dark, gray CGI. And I didn't really care for it.
Oh, you mean when they're taking out the Unity?
Yeah, and then, I mean, there's, like, the flashes of red and orange and stuff, but for the most part, it just kind of reminded me of, like 360 era, where every shooter was brown.
Oh, God.
And I was just like, this is kind of falling flat for me, personally. But one thing that I did really like is the R rating.
I
love the R rating. That did this movie so good. So much good.
Cut
people
a bunch of people in half.
Yeah. It's awesome. When he first did it, I was like, oh, damn. Like, he literally decapitates people.
I think he cut someone's arm off first.
Yeah. Like, when I saw that, I saw just blood gushing. I was like, oh, yeah, this is what superhero movies need to be. Like, I don't understand why they're not. In the comics, they're, like, really bloody.
Well, they want to have it open to wider audiences, and not even see an R rating, like, oh, we can't bring the kids to this. It's not a children's movie.
I do think that 2 cuts. For the most part, they should be PG-13.
Yeah.
But there are some movies where they just need the R rating, like Deadpool, Logan.
Yeah. They dropped the F-bomb, like,
once
a couple times.
Or, like, 2 times, right? 2-3 times or something.
And, like, that's what I want from Star Wars. I want a rated R Star Wars movie so bad.
Never happens.
Not gonna happen.
I feel
Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R, so there might be hope.
Well,
I just it shouldn't be like a mainline Star Wars movie, but like a side Star Wars story.
I can see that being
about like Mandalore or something. That'd be awesome. Especially, I know I'm sidetracking here. I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
But in the High Republic, how they have the drain gear and they inject like toxins and stuff. I want to see like these plant dudes ripping people apart.
Oh.
But I'll save it for another day.
Yeah, save that.
Back to Justice League.
Dissect the Justice League.
People are getting cut and blood's coming out.
Yeah, blood's coming out. Frank, you were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, so like what Cody was saying about the colored pellets in the sort of near the ending. Was it the Sanctuary, or what was it again? The
Unity.
Oh, the Unity.
Yeah, Unity. So it's like the whole movie was kind of different now because in the original one, it was the whole sky was completely red.
It was a really bright red.
It's more now like a natural dark, dark look, like the sky, like night sky, which I really like.
Yeah, I preferred it too.
But yeah,
I preferred it too. I just wish that like everything else was a different color, so that there's more contrast.
But hey, at least they didn't show that Russian family. Remember that Russian family?
Yeah, I'm really happy that was not here.
Yeah, I love how they cut that out.
Some random Russian family.
Yeah.
One family living in
Living in
there.
a
But that was my favorite part of the movie.
We didn't need it.
And I love how much more Flash we got. Like for him to use his powers, I mean,
We got a lot more of each character.
yeah, I love it. It was so good. Like, I feel like, and the sucky part about seeing this movie is now I want more. I want to see the rest of his vision that he had for the Justice League and other.
We're gonna build up to that movie now.
Yeah, we're gonna start it. We got the Snyder cut out, so we got to get give him the reins, let him do his thing.
I feel like it's a couple years out. I just feel like it's gonna be a couple years out.
I feel like
build up to it.
I feel like what they need to do is just take inspiration, not copy, but take inspiration from the MCU and how they do it, where they interweave all this stuff. Because the Justice League from 2017 felt rushed and it didn't feel earned, and I don't think this one felt earned either because there wasn't enough stuff like around this movie to kind of bring it all together. Like, it's a cool movie, but I would have liked it to feel more in universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good stepping off point, but I don't think that they're going to continue with that vision.
I can say this is going to be like a fresh start because once this movie is out already, where you're already getting people already loving the movie already. They already have ratings for it already. So I feel like from this new Justice League that they are gonna make Zack Snyder direct more Justice League movies or DC movies or to start expanding their cinematic universe.
Well, the only problem with that is like you don't have Batfleck anymore. You don't have Henry Cavill as Superman anymore. They're recasting him, I guess, or it's still up in the air. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to be the Superman anymore. So it's like I feel like they're doing a soft reboot of the DCEU.
Well, that first movie.
Oh yeah, no,
and I think that's what they need.
Yeah, but it sucks because if Zack Snyder could have just got his movie out, I feel like they would be in a different spot. I know, but I feel like they would be in a different spot right now.
Because this movie was awesome.
Well, it wasn't Warner Brothers. Sorry, but it wasn't Warner Brothers. It was Zack Snyder's daughter passed away. And he stepped back from the project, and then Warner Brothers got Joss Whedon to fill it in. It was just an unfortunate circumstance that was exacerbated by Joss Whedon coming in and messing all of it up. But Warner Brothers wasn't the reason that it was bad. It's a whole mess of things.
Yeah, it's a whole convoluted conversation. But back to our review because we keep getting sidetracked. But Martian Manhunter showed up, and I was not expecting him to be camouflaged or shapeshifted as Clark Kent's mother.
Well, he was the general.
No, I knew he was the general. That was always hinted that he was going to be the general, but I wasn't expecting him to show up
as Clark Kent's mother.
Yeah, exactly.
As Martha to come in and convince Lois to get back out in the world.
Mm-hmm. And then when I saw the red eyes, I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome! That was awesome for me."
There's a really good scene where Martha Kent comes and starts talking to Lois because Lois is all depressed. She's sad. She's grieving because Clark died.
Yeah.
And Martha comes in and she starts talking to her, and she's like, "We're the only ones who really knew him. We loved him. The whole world's crying for him, but we're taking it the hardest, And she just sort of convinces Lois just to start moving on.
Yeah.
And when she leaves the apartment, the eyes glow, and she shapeshifts into Martian Manhunter, and it's just like, it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah. I was worried about the CGI for that, and then it actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like that would have been more impactful if it actually was Martha. I just felt like it was just a cameo for cameo's sake, and then he comes back in the end credits, or like in the epilogue.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it just felt like sequel bait, and it's like, that's cool, you can have him in there, but I wish he would have played more of an important role.
Yeah.
And I wish it didn't take away from that moment, because I felt like it took away from that moment.
Well, it kind of connects back to Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of had that interaction with each other, so they kind of had like somewhat of a bond. So I feel like it was good, but
They had it in Dawn of Justice as well.
yeah, I wish he would have. I agree with you, Cody. I wish they would have had him more in the movie, especially if they knew there wasn't going to be like a sequel for this movie. Should have just went like crazy with Martian Manhunter just coming in and like helping out and stuff.
That's probably the only negative for Martian Manhunter being in this movie is that he wasn't involved more into the plot.
Like it was kind of like what you were saying, sequel bait. Like
it definitely was.
But it's like, why do that if you know you're not going to have a sequel?
I feel like
kind of bummed.
I feel like half of that epilogue was sequel bait.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Oh, totally.
And the thing is, it's like, well, now they either have to do that, or fans are going to be really disappointed.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to take a new director. Because, I mean, Jeff Johns was in charge of this whole thing, and I think he left DC. I'm not sure. But something happened with him to where he's not in charge anymore. So they need a Kevin Feige like figure who knows their stuff about DC and who can bring everything in. And also, like I said, the only Zack Snyder movie I've ever really liked was 300. And I feel like this one's good. I do like it. But I don't like this. I wouldn't want the style to keep going the way it is throughout the whole universe, because it's like the dark and gritty reboot, right? And I don't want that to be the style of every movie that comes out. Yeah, that's why I didn't see Wonder Woman 84, but I thought it was going to go in that direction. I heard bad things about it, so I didn't watch it. But at least it took that chance and wasn't dark and gritty. It was nice and colorful, and I don't know.
Well, each movie is different. Look at Shazam. Look at Aquaman.
Shazam
was awesome, and I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that they didn't have that darkness kind of thing.
But for because it was like more like kid, like kid protagonist.
But for Batman. Like the mainline movies like Man of Steel, then Batman versus Superman, Justice League, the quote unquote important ones, they're all like dark and moody and emo and gritty, and I'm just like, I want a variety of stuff. I don't want the same movie or the same style.
I think what they were trying to accomplish is like, if they did go that like kind of heartfelt, not heartfelt, but like light, comical kind of sort of way, they would have just been bashed for trying to do the MCU. So I feel like they were trying to do the gritty thing just to stand out and to be different.
Well, it's more true to the universe.
Yeah,
because you read the comics, there's a lot of blood in DC comics.
Yeah, DC's. I mean, look at Batman stories. They're not.
Batman is probably the darkest hero in the Justice League.
Oh yeah, easily.
And so I thought it's dark and gritty. It stays true. In the other movies, you don't need to be dark and
gritty.
The
only one they shouldn't have done that for is Superman, because he's not like that.
Well, Man of Steel wasn't dark and gritty.
No, I meant for like Batman v Superman, where he's like,
Yeah. Well, that one they have Batman, and that one was sort of.
Yeah, that one. I think it just clashed with the whole, theme of it, but I feel like the new Justice League movie, like, I don't know, I want more of it. I really liked it, and I want, like, even if it's like its own little cinematic universe kind of thing where Zack Snyder's just doing his own thing, I want it.
What if they do like an Elseworlds kind of thing that Zack Snyder like just does, right? And then like the main DCEU is like tackled by a whole other group of like directors and creators and stuff.
Well, they could do it because they do mention the multiverse a lot in this movie, which I do love.
Yeah,
because if you're a DC fan, you know that the mainline comics, the heroes we know of, is just one Earth in a huge multiverse.
Yeah,
there's multiple Earths, and Darkseid and all the new gods, New Genesis, Apocalypse, they exist outside of the multiverse of the universe. So It is possible that they could.
Oh yeah, and then I love how they name dropped the anti-life equation.
Oh yeah.
I was like, ooh.
You see Darkseid
awesome.
slam into the ground. I was like, oh. The anti-life equation. I was like, oh, that was giddy.
Yeah,
that was real giddy.
For anybody who loves Darkseid, there is like unfortunately he's not in the movie a ton, but when he is in the movie, it's really cool.
I don't think him being in the movie more would have.
No, he was in just enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was.
I don't think he should have been in more.
The focus should have been on Steppenwolf, or else it would have been like Spider-Man 3 syndrome, where you have all these different villains, and it's just messy.
They did it just fine.
Yeah, because there's one scene where like Wonder Woman's giving her little like history lesson to Batman, and it's kind of like replacing Steppenwolf from the original, but putting Darkseid. But Darkseid's like literally like. He literally kills the Green Lantern, like, no problem.
He kills the Green Lantern hella quick. The only people who are, like, messing with them were the like, old guys.
Zeus and Ares.
Zeus and Ares. I was like, oh, shit, they're gods.
That made sense. I was not mad that they, like, made him bleed and everything. I was like, okay, that makes sense. He's God versus a god. The Green Lantern got slayed.
I feel like they were way too OP against Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that too, but, like, in the end, it was, like, Darkseid versus, like, two gods, a Green Lantern, and then Amazon. You know what I mean?
They just made like the Amazons and the Atlanteans like weak, and then
because the King Neptune, whoever that guy was fighting him as well, and he was doing some things.
Yeah,
he was slamming this trident.
I mean, he did better
ground.
than Green Lantern.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Green Lantern died.
We got a close up with the Green Lantern. He's the Guardian.
Yeah,
I just want like a lantern, not Green Lantern, but I want like all the lanterns in a movie.
Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
But I want all of them.
We can just call it the Lantern Corps or something.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, because they announced the Green Lantern Corps movie.
Oh, really?
And that was like years ago, though. That was like 2014, I want to say. We were still in high school.
Yeah.
They announced it, and nothing ever happened. They announced the Green Lantern
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was years before, though.
That could have been the sequel right there, but
they could easily do it way better because I love what I saw the Green Lantern in this movie.
Oh yeah,
it stays true. Even when Darkseid kills him, you see the rings start flying up. Darkseid's like,
he tried to grab it too.
Yeah.
Did you see him?
Darkseid
like,
knows what it is.
Yeah, Darkseid was like smiling too. And then you see like some visions near the end of the Darkseid, basically like killing people.
Okay, yeah. So when there's a scene in the movie where they're about to revive Superman.
Oh yeah.
When Cyborg plugs into the ship, he has a vision because the mother box and the ship are like, hey, if you do this, this could happen.
Yeah.
And there's a scene and it's just Darkseid going through and just killing everybody.
Yeah, just all the Justice League.
And in one scene, you see another Green Lantern dead, just lying out, and Darkseid just walking away. And wasn't the Green Lantern? It looked like Kilowog, I want to say.
That was
awesome.
Kilowog?
Yeah, I think it looked like Kilowog to me.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna have to watch the movie again and look at it.
And I was like, but it looked skinny, so I wasn't sure. You know what I mean?
I saw like a pink face, blocky, pig face guy. I was like, that was like Kilowog. Was that Kilowog?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was cool.
Whoa, Kilowog. But you do see Darkseid uses Omega Beams in the movie.
Oh yeah, and it's completely truthful to its comic books.
Yeah, where it like zips around and then it cuts someone in half.
Disintegrates the guy.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I saw it and I was like,
and he wasn't even looking at the guy.
No, that was awesome.
That's one of his powers because Darkseid's power is the Omega Force, and his Omega Beams just one power from it.
Yeah,
and that's how it always happens. Because Darkseid is always just standing cross-arm, standing straight, flying through the air, just Omega beaming everybody.
Yeah.
And when somebody gets hit with the Omega beams, even Superman, they completely die.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah,
I
like how this movie kind of like skips a lot of the original Justice League movie. Like for instance, like you see Superman die from Doomsday, and I love how the voice kind of like signals to the mother boxes because now it's like, okay, that's what triggered.
Yeah, because in the first one, it's like they just wake up for some reason, and this one, it's like they sense that Superman's dead. So
yeah, and I actually like that because I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like the Top Gun is gone, so now it's okay to invade here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, keep going.
I did feel like, I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So, like, the scenes that were in the original, the 2017, not the original, but the 2017 Justice League, I felt like those scenes in this movie, in this Snyder Cut version, they didn't have enough or as much impact because I've already seen them before. So it did kind of take away a lot of the jokes and just kind of a lot of the feeling that the movie had for me.
Well, it's because you've seen it before.
Yeah, and so it's like I felt like I was just watching like a Game of the Year edition kind of movie.
Well, the good thing about that is that they're in like for like a quarter of the movie.
Yeah, like Flash and Cyborg are in it for like, I would want to say like 15, 20 minutes.
I would say 10.
Yeah, like even that.
Mm.
And then in this one, they have like almost like 50 minutes to like, screen time. Just
They give them proper time to build the characters.
Yeah, and I love what they did with Cyborg. Cyborg was my favorite thing they did with, because I love how they did the interaction with him and his father in this one.
They did it right.
Yeah.
They did it so good, where you actually feel bad for
And it's truthful
Cyborg.
to the comic books.
Yeah, it is. And I'm just
Because
like,
that's the whole thing with Cyborg, is that he sort of hates his dad for making him what he is.
But at least we know what happened during the movie, like, how he became Cyborg.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because in the original Justice League, they don't even say that.
Or they
They don't show
didn't show his mother either.
They
just
Dawn
show
of Justice. In Dawn of Justice, Batman, when he hacks into Lex Luthor's, computers and he gets the video images, you see just like a 5-second
Yeah, I was
just
gonna say
Cyborg
that.
get created,
Yeah.
and that's it. And in the Justice League, they don't do any flash or anything. They just go like, "Why'd you make me this way, Dad?" It's all, "I would save your son," and it's like, okay, that's it.
I want to say in Justice League they did have the crash. It was like a couple seconds. It showed him getting
I
a
don't
crash.
remember.
I don't remember it. Like, maybe it's just because I haven't seen that movie in so long. But
And because it's so forgettable.
Him, playing football, but again, it was partly like the crash. It showed
yeah,
it for like
because
2
in
seconds.
Justice League, the original one, like 2017 one, they introduced Cyborg expecting the audience to know everything. And that's where I'm like, okay, you can't do that, because we all know how he got that way. But if you send like a Phil in there, he can't give him a shit.
And I do like when movies do that, when they don't think that their audience is stupid.
Mm.
But the 2017 Justice League thought that their audience was way too smart, that they knew everything. Yeah, and it's like there's people like, if you ask like 10 years ago if anyone's seen Iron Man, you'd be like, no. But now you ask if anyone's seen Avengers, and everyone's seen Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's like, for casual people walking into that movie, they were like, what's going on?
Well, that was the thing with DC Comics. DC Comics has always been way bigger than Marvel Comics. Marvel heroes weren't anywhere even as widely known as just even some of the smaller DC heroes until the MCU started.
Mm-hmm.
And like Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, they're some of the smaller ones that people don't know about on the Justice League. Aquaman 2, he's in there. The 3 big ones that everybody knows already is Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. So,
but they still should give time to develop all the characters.
They gave time. Well,
yeah,
Batman,
but I'm just saying,
don't really need to give time. He's been done a million movies. Superman, same thing. He already had Man of Steel. Wonder Woman came out before that, so they had time. They didn't need to build on those 3 characters.
No,
And what this movie does, it does build up on the other ones.
I'm saying in 2017, that's what they should have done.
Yeah,
Here
they
they did a good job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In 2017, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's Cody.
But there's I love what they did with Flash too.
Mhm.
Like you don't get his backstory per se, but you see more of him.
They built his character.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a good 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't even feel like a 4-hour movie.
Makes me want a Flash movie because I'm like, ooh, that'd be cool.
See,
And they showed Iris. So.
yeah. And then some unfortunate thing though is like I keep going back to it is like we're not gonna get more.
Mm-hmm.
We might.
Hopefully.
Like a 5% chance.
This
if
is
that.
really good.
But it's just like,
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I just remembered a scene. When Flash goes back in time,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Because they
That was
mentioned it
awesome.
in this movie as well. They mentioned that Flash, he's like, I have this one rule. Is I kind of get close to the speed of light, and then some weird stuff starts happening with time, whatever. So I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they building that? And they do it. They
Oh.
fire it. It's not a Chekhov's gun. They use it at the end.
Yeah,
It was
and
perfect.
and it's so cool. Visually, it looked so good. It was like Oblivion. There's like nothing.
was-
Yeah, that was like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah,
I
it
loved
looked
everything that they did with the
good.
Flash.
And then,
Again.
like, when he was running,
Yeah.
and I saw everything rematerializing, I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Again, it's true to the comics, and I was like, I want a Flashpoint movie now. Because
The
the animated
one.
Flashpoint
Yes.
is fantastic, and this, I'm like, it looks just like that.
Yeah, see, I heard they're going to do it. It
Yeah.
just keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And like originally, Ray Fisher's Cyborg was supposed to be in that Flashpoint movie because in the animated one, Cyborg is like there still, but he's like a government agent.
Because it was an altered Earth.
Yeah, and then, unfortunately they're cutting him out because of the whole claims he had against Whedon.
Yeah, he hates Joss Whedon.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if any of the other cast members kind of like supported.
I think Gal Gadot did because she was hypersexualized in Justice League, and I'm glad that they didn't do that here because every shot of her treated her like a human being, and I was like, yes, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like don't. Just when I saw Justice League and like it kept showing shots of her ass, it's like 15-year-old kids are probably like, what? But like me, I'm just like, I don't need that.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
Just give us Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Where she just kicks ass.
Yeah, don't give us like an object.
Ass. Look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another good part in this when Wonder Woman's stopping the terrorist attack.
Oh yeah,
and the schoolgirls. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's good. That was perfect.
That's exactly who Wonder Woman is.
Yes.
When the girl's like, "Can I be like you?" Wonder Woman responds, "You could be anything you want to be." I was like, okay, that's Wonder Woman. That's
I want to talk about this for a second because in the original, the 2017 one, we see the big attack and she stops it. And it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's sort of And the first you watch it, you're like, that was quick. That was pointless.
Yeah.
And in this one, they expand the attack. They give, story to it. It's not just some random dude with a gun trying to shoot people. In this one, it's terrorists who want to stop the modern world. They're anti-whatever. And they're attacking. And one woman shows up and she saves them. And they announce, he's like, hey, there's school children here. You don't give us whatever I want, I'm going to start shooting. And one woman shows up and she, after the attack, after she, took out the bad guy, she goes over to the people and she picks them up. She helps them up. She's like, here, let me help you. Here you go. Yeah. How you doing? And there's one girl that's scared and she's like, it's okay. You're fine. I'm here. And she picks her up. And the girl's like, I want to be like you one day. And one woman's like, you can be whatever you want. Yeah. Let's go. She's like, I was like, that's how Wonder Woman is. That's perfect.
Yeah. It was not too, bubbly. You know what I mean?
It wasn't like an A-Force kind of moment. That's just shoehorned in.
Yeah, it was more of like a inspirational hero moment.
It wasn't the Marvel where all the female heroes line up for a second. It was
girl power.
It was actual people interacting with each other.
Yeah. They did this movie extremely, in my opinion, well. It was really good for me.
I also enjoyed the way that she just took out that dude. She was like, no mercy for you. Slammed her gauntlets.
Man, having that R rating for Wonder Woman in this movie did her so much justice. Because she was just, you can actually see her combat in this one. She was slicing parademons in half.
It was awesome.
She was just going ham.
She's using her sword. And shield, again, like in the comics. Again, in the comics, she has a sword. She has a shield. Okay? She's going around. She's using it. She's cutting people. She's slicing people in half. She's shield bashing their skulls in. And in the original one, it's like she hits him with like a foam sword, and it's like, eh. And this one, it's a sword.
Slices through a sword. Oh, so one scene I really love, I thought it was like an oh shit moment, is when Steppenwolf's about to chop Cyborg when he's like trying to separate the Unity, and Superman just gets in the line and is like, I'm not impressed.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
I want to talk about this because in this cinematic universe, I feel like Superman's way too overpowered.
Yes,
because Steppenwolf is a new god. And in the New 52, Steppenwolf, when he's invading Earth 2, he kills Superman. Okay? And in this one, I'm like, come on. Steppenwolf is a new god.
Okay.
He is a universal being. And so Superman can't fight him?
I think the only reason why they power Steppenwolf down and make Superman look so overpowered is because when Darkseid shows up, I feel like Darkseid is going to be that guy.
Darkseid up
it's like the Hulk and Thanos, where Hulk was like, you don't mess with them, but then Thanos shows up and Thanos one-shots him. I feel like it's going to be kind of like that. If they were going to continue the story, Superman would be like, oh, hey, I'm Superman, and Darkseid would be like, I don't care, and then just wreck shop with him. And then I feel like that's why they have him so overpowered in this cinematic universe.
Well, another thing I thought of too when I was watching this, when one was doing the flashback scene and Darkseid gets beaten by Zeus and Ares, the old gods, I'm like, I wonder if they're doing that storyline, because in the comics, one comic storyline is that because they exist outside of the multiverses, when they invade the universes, when they invade Earth, it's not really Darkseid, it's just a projection of Darkseid power. You understand?
Yeah, no, I get you. I hope they don't.
So
do that,
I was wondering like that. I was like, that'd be interesting.
I kind of want Darkseid to physically be there.
Yeah, that seems kind of like the execution of that in a movie seems kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's something that happened in the comic books, and I was thinking about it because I was like, that could explain one reason why Darkseid lost to the gods in that scene. And I was like, that could explain why Steppenwolf, can't fight Superman. And I was like,
Yeah, I thought like maybe Steppenwolf shouldn't have been just annihilated. I feel like there should have been like some struggle for Superman, like a little bit, because I mean, Doomsday was the same way.
Yeah, that's my problem with Superman in this universe, is that he is way too powerful. I'm like, come on.
And I feel like they should have powered him down because he just came back from the dead. And in the comics, like when he does, like in Superman Doomsday, like, when he comes back with the black suit, he's not full power. He's like recovering still.
Well, in the old comics, when Doomsday kills Superman, he actually like dead.
Yeah.
But because he's Kryptonian, his body starts regenerating immediately. But it's just taking time because he was killed. And Superman's robots come and save him. And that's the whole thing, is that when Lex Luthor's Superman clones are running around, causing trouble, Superman's back in the Fortress of Solitude healing up. That's the reason he wears the black suit. It's because it helps absorb more sunlight into him. Because that's where he gets his power, he heals from.
Yeah.
So like that one scene when he was writing up.
Yeah.
And then he was
I thought that was perfect, because he's absorbing the sunlight.
I really like the black suit, but
It's a must.
But
Uh-oh.
it kind of makes that whole ending sequence that's too dark for me worse. Because everything's so dark and black and gray and like navy blue, except for the red that was everywhere. It just kind of brought me back to that 360 generation where every shooter was gray because they didn't have the assets to make it more colorful. I did really enjoy that suit though.
Yeah, no, suit's
awesome.
You have to have a black suit Superman after he comes back.
And I love how even after this movie, in the epilogue, when he rips the shirt open, it's still the black suit. He doesn't go back to the red and blue one.
The only thing that would have made it better is he had the long hair and beard.
Oh, I know. That would have been cool. But then he would have to be in the Fortress of Solitude.
Then I understood. Yeah. I was like, he doesn't even have a Fortress of Solitude.
Hey, at least his upper lip's not CG.
I know. Thank God for that.
Yeah, it looks so bad in that one. And I like how in this one, like when Superman shows up, he's not like, oh, I don't know about that, but I know a lot about justice and truth. I'm like, I don't want that. Like, just give me Superman beating the crap out of him.
He does. That's one thing that was cool, because he's at the end scene when Superman comes and he starts just beating the crap out of Steppenwolf. Like, literally, I'm like, come on. Again, I'm like, come on. Steppenwolf's a new god. He should be able to fight Superman. But at the same time, it's really cool because Superman's got him pinned. He's just like, bam, bam. It's like a Gears of War execution.
Yeah.
He's like, bam, punch his face, bam, punch his face.
You did not love the part where he heat raised one of his horns off.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, that's brutal for Superman. I was like, that's cool.
I think it might have been that or something else, but then there's some blood splatter that hit the screen, and that reminded me of Gears of War 2. I was like, yeah.
That was probably doing one of the Steppenwolf when they're going around with his axe, cutting people.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got this sense of it either, but when he's beating the crap out of Steppenwolf and basically brutalizing him, you guys get that sense of foreshadow while all the heroes are kind of staring at Superman, beating the crap out of Steppenwolf.
They really foreshadow this in the
they're hella scared.
the evil one of Superman,
Yeah, because everybody was just looking at Superman, they're like, we just struggled against this guy, and Superman is beating the crap out of him.
Superman's powerful in universe.
I do feel like that whole revival sequence, though, kind of took too long.
What do you mean, when they were trying to revive him again?
Yeah, because it's I don't know, just something about it went really slow. I mean, the first whole half of the movie, to me, felt very slow. And, not in a good way. Because I do like slow burns. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a fantastic film, no matter what other people try to tell me. And they're both, slow burns. Yeah. And I really enjoy that. But just something about it felt slow and boring to me in the first half of the movie, and then that revival sequence is really when the movie started to pick up for me. And I also want to say, I'm tired of seeing CG minions it's like World War Z, where they're just there and they're creating tidal waves and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I just want to see the heroes fighting the villains. Maybe some minion action off to the side for like lesser heroes or other things, but it's like I don't like these giant armies of faceless like CGI things that are getting pummeled because that's not exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Parademons. I love that they're Parademons.
If it was a different villain, I'd understand, but Darkseid always had the army.
Every time he shows up, they're always fighting.
Yeah, but it's like, we've seen it. How many times?
I know, but like you can't...
We saw it twice for Infinity War and Endgame.
No.
An apocalypse army without Parademons.
Yeah, like, you can't have Apocalypse without
this movie wouldn't work if it was just Steppenwolf going around, just by himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like for this one, it's fine, but maybe in the next one, like when Darkseid shows up, he can be like, or if he shows up, like it's gonna happen. But basically, like if Darkseid were to show up in the next movie, he would look at the Justice League and be like, "I don't need you guys' help. They're mine." Like
that was one thing I was also hoping in this movie is that I was hoping that because Apocalypse is way more involved in this movie.
Oh yeah,
because Steppenwolf comes and talks to Visage multiple times, and I'm like, that'd be cool if they'd steal the people because that's how the Parademons are formed. Is that they steal the people and Visage, Darkseid, right-hand man, scientist guy, a counselor dude. That's what he does. He turns all the people they capture and collect into Parademons to form an army.
But I feel like
I was sort of hoping that would happen. Right,
but I feel like they struggle with the Parademons at first. But then again, you remember like back in the 2017, they had a weakness, that weird siren noise. And then that's why I was like, okay, now they made a little bit more tougher because once the Batman did that little siren noise, they were just all weak because they didn't like the noise.
Oh yeah, I also felt like Batman kind of sucked the first half of this movie, unless he was using like his like big tank thing in like the pipes or the sewer or whatever underground. Especially during the Superman fight, he didn't show up except to like pick up a dude, and I understand why. But it's like, I feel like Batman could be more resourceful than that.
Well, that's another problem with Superman being stupidly strong in this universe. They had to, bump up the other characters, and Batman, again, is still just a human. They're like, well, he can't do all this stuff, he's a human.
Yeah, and I love Batman.
And I'm like, come on. It's like, Batman is probably the most dangerous member of the Justice League besides Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm like, come on, it's Batman. But I do feel like they did better in this movie with him than they did in the first one. Because in the first 2017 one, he gets his ass beat. He can't fight one Parademon in that movie. I'm like,
and this one, he's just at the end, he's taking him down.
Yeah, this one, he's actually doing his kung fu stuff. Yeah. I was like, Batman knows every single. Yeah, well,
he was just did the hand motion too.
Yeah, kung fu.
He's kung fu with his Parademon pellets.
Yeah, but in this one, you actually see him do it more, and he's going around. He disarms him. He kung fu's. He kicks that guy. He throws the bomb. I would have wanted more of a battering. And again, he also relies too much on the grappling hook in this movie, which I'm like, I'm sort of okay with that because the Arkham games, mainly.
And the vehicles.
And the vehicles, yeah. But the vehicles at the Batmobile at the end, I felt
they were necessary.
Justified. That's perfect.
Yeah. He needed it.
But the crawler thing, I'm like, I was like, that.
Yeah, I could have done without the crawler. But to go back with the Batman thing, I think one of my favorite scenes for Batman is when he's like dropping down and the Parademons are shooting at him and he's like doing his like evasive maneuvers and then he just sticks one with the bomb.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was like, oh, I love that so
you
much.
See him, he's swinging in on the grapple. I want to see him do the gliding more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's swinging in on the grapple. He lands. He takes out a Parademon. And then the other one's back there with his weapon. He starts firing at Batman. And Batman's going, wah, wah. He's jumping left, jumping right. He's doing the dive. It looks like the Arkham game. And he takes out that Parademon. He throws the sticky bomb on him.
I think my favorite Batman moment in this movie was when he's getting ready to go into the Batmobile. And he just turns off the lights. And I was like, that's so Batman.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It was so simple. It was so simple, but I was just like, oh, yeah, give me the whole movie of him just doing that.
Yeah, because he was like, don't worry about me. Shoot. And he just shut off his comms. I was like, that's so Batman.
That's Batman, yeah. My favorite Batman scene is probably you guys can be surprised at this, but at the end of the movie, in the epilogue, when they're doing the, they're zooming through all the heroes, showing them, that they become heroes, it shows Batman on the Bat tank from The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Batmobile from that movie. I saw it and I was like, oh my god, are they going to do the mutants? Because it looks like that scene in the movie, or in the comic, where he's going through in the mutant camp and just shooting them down from the tank.
And there's some dudes that were tied up.
I saw that and I was like, Oh my god, that's perfect. And that was my favorite Batman scene in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman looked cool too. I honestly, my personal opinion, I love Ben Affleck's
Ben
Batman.
Affleck as Batman was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him as Batman, and I so wish they did his solo movie because I would have loved it. Because in Superman vs. Batman, one of my favorite scenes in that entire horrific movie is when Batman goes to save Martha Kent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's literally beating the crap out of everyone. And it just, like you said, it reminded me of the Arkham games where he's just like, you know, boss.
Like, that's Batman. Batman goes around. He disables people. He's literally there stopping criminals for good. That's what he's trying to do. He's not trying to kill them. He's just stopping them and making them, next time they're going to come back, rethink about this.
Yeah.
Because that's Batman's whole thing. And I love it.
Yeah. And then, like, he breaks the arms and breaks the legs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fine with me. Like, I like it.
I do want to see what Matt Reeves does with his Batman movie, with the Robert Pattinson one.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it, too.
It looks very noir, too.
It is a Batman noir story.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Riddler and Counterman are apparently going to be in it
Penguins
from the long Halloween. I think that's what they're pulling the sources from it. So I'm like, that's a detective book.
Yeah.
And if it's a good enough, I hope Robert Pattinson is like willing to do more. Because he could be
part of the universe.
Oh, it's not?
No, I don't think
it's kind of going to be like
it's a separate Batman story.
Where it's just like to the side.
Because I was going to say like they could just use him for movies that were like that whole 20-year period before Batfleck, pretty much, or maybe like the first 5 years or 10 years or something when he's younger.
I could see it
because the thing is, it has a lot of hate. But I love the Han Solo movie. I love Solo: A Star Wars Story, and a lot of the issues that people have with it, especially you, Felix, is that he doesn't look the main character that plays Han Solo. He does not look like Han Solo.
He doesn't act as
But I think he perfectly encapsulates the character of Han Solo. Even Harrison Ford said it himself that he did a fantastic job. And he played that character well.
They had such a hard time trying to get him to do that character. They had to bring in acting coaches and Harrison Ford himself to teach him how to play Harrison Ford for them.
And it worked.
It did not.
I loved it. And the thing is that you don't have to have the same actor or a lookalike actor. Like, especially in the case of Robert Pattinson and Ben Affleck, they don't look alike. But they can still be the same character. Maybe like a couple years down the line, like they did, like they're doing with Solo.
Yeah.
Hashtag make Solo 2 happen. But
never.
I want it to happen. Okay, back to the topic.
We're gonna get that when I get my double dash.
Okay, if I had like God powers, I would get Solo 2, and you would get Double Dash.
It would still be a horror movie. Double Dash for me.
Alright,
let's go back to Justice League first.
We're still not done dumping all our like nerd facts about this movie. So Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, because I know you guys are talking about your favorite Batman scene. My favorite Batman scene was when the scene where they're at the Gotham City Police Department with Commissioner Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So, Commissioner Gordon's like, I guess one of the police officers like, hey, there's people getting kidnapped. It looks like Batman, we need to do the, if you want to talk to him, talk to, Batman, and then, and then how you contact him the only way. So, the bat signal.
Yeah.
That wasn't the original one, and it didn't work. And this one, they did it so much better. They added more to that scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the few instances where it was like retreading old ground, but I actually enjoyed it, and I laughed at the Barry Allen part where he's like, "Oh, that's rude," and then he just goes.
I didn't laugh at it the first movie.
Yeah, me neither.
Because there was no build up. It's just like, here's the new scene, here's the scene, here's the scene, and like this one was kind of like well done.
But it plays out. It shows. It slowly creeps into GCPD. You see cops wrestling with some thugs. Gordon walks by. The lieutenant comes. He's like, "Hey, here's some messages." And we're gonna tell them. They start talking about the missing persons case, and he's like, "Yeah," and descriptions. It looks like Batman. And Gordon's like, "You really think it'd be Batman?"
20 years of him.
He's all right, I will talk to him. And the guy's like, how the hell are you going to talk to him? He's like, how do you think I'm going to talk to him?
Yeah.
And he goes up and he pulls the lever on the floodlight and it
pull the lever, Kronk.
Yeah, I actually like J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon.
He does it good. He looks the part.
He looks just like him. Like, he looks really close to the comic book. Oh man, I was gonna say something.
If they do a Batman Year One movie,
Robert Pattinson. I think he could do it.
I think this is pretty close to year one.
It's close, but
It's
it's going to be more noir from The Long Halloween because Riddler and Calendar Man, I think, are in it. I think they said that.
I think Penguin's in there too.
Yeah, but I mean, they can still have all the story beats of year one in that movie.
I want year one mainly because that's more of a Gordon story than a Batman story. And that's why I want.
Isn't that more of like Gordon trying to capture Batman too?
No, it's Gordon first arriving in Gotham, and he's trying to be his good cop.
Okay.
That's more of a Gordon story, and Batman starting off as Batman. That's why it's Batman year one.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because it's the start of both of their stories. And that's why I would really like that. And J.K. Simmons, I think. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, now that everything's on HBO Max, what if they just do a series of like that? Kind of like...
That would be perfect.
I think that'd be awesome.
Though?
Yeah, but they can do it
but
better.
Gotham sort of turned...
Yeah.
Like after the second season. It started off as a Gordon and Bullock show. And I really liked that, and then it started getting way into more of the weird stuff.
Yeah, I watched like the first 3 seasons, and after the 3rd season, I was like, I'm kind of done with this.
After the 3rd season, I tuned out of it too. And I was like,
I didn't watch it at all, but I just know, spoiler warning for Gotham, I know at the very end of the series, you see Batman.
Yeah. It's like 10 seconds.
Yeah. So final thoughts, Justice League, what you guys got? What would you have liked to see, and would you like Zack Snyder to continue with his vision of what he was going to do? Because this movie looks like it splits off into potentially like 5 other movies.
Well, the other, the Shazam, Aquaman, 101, they still work with this movie.
Yeah, they do.
That's true, yeah.
So, Frank, you want to go first?
So, yeah, my final thoughts of the Justice League movie. It's a really big improvement from the 2017 movie. Big character development for Victor Stone. I think it was part 4 or it was part 4 when his beloved mother, beloved son. I really enjoyed his character development. Even though we've seen him maybe a couple minutes from the original one, at least you get to know the character, how he's going through his relationship with his father, and at first he didn't love his father at first for abandoning him, or he didn't go to his football games, and then his dad sacrificing to destroy the mother box when Steppenwolf was trying to get it from the lab. So I felt like Victor, was trying to, not be this monster, but at least be who he wanted, to be how his father created him. Yeah. But after all the new,
what would you give it? 1 out of 10, 10 being the best.
I would give it 8.5.
Okay, yeah.
Even though I, almost fell asleep the first couple minutes of the movie. I was like,
8.5.
Okay, 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. I'll give it, but the beginning was kind of slow, and then it built up towards the end.
Yeah.
For me, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a definite step up from 2017's Justice League, but there's a couple things that do bother me, like the muted color palette, but I can look past that, I really didn't enjoy the 4:3 aspect ratio. I don't know why. I think the reason that I'm seeing online is because they want it to be...
look like a comic panel.
Well, also, not only that, but they also want it to be easier to view in IMAX. Because, IMAX is the big screen, and we have the Tech Museum near us. Their IMAX is huge. Felix and I saw Rogue One.
I've been there a bunch of times. That's a great IMAX.
It was so hard for me to watch Rogue One in the IMAX. So I get that, but it's I just wish it was formatted 16:9 for regular TVs, especially because it's coming out on streaming. And I don't think that this movie justifies its 4-hour length. I enjoy it for being 4 hours, but I don't think that it had to be 4 hours for it to be as good as it is. I think they could have cut out a couple scenes, made it maybe 3.5 hours. I enjoy long movies. I love the Lord of the Rings extended editions.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about this being 4 hours kind of bothered me. But I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, wow, I was not expecting that from you.
No, I mean, what I said is pretty negative. Oh yeah, I had some very low expectations for this. I was like, big dumb gray CGI villain, big dumb gray CGI army,
Big dumb gray.
fucking
What a catchphrase. Big dumb gray.
Yeah.
big dumb gray S on the Superman suit. I'm just kidding.
That was silver. That wasn't gray.
I know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, wow.
But with an asterisk, that's for a 4-hour movie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Alright, real quick, I want to go off on the IMAX. San Jose Tech Museum has a huge IMAX theater.
Oh,
it's great.
You go in and you sit down, you're literally looking straight up. And
really?
Something happens on the left of the screen, you turn your head to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? Something happens on the right, you're turning your head to the right. And I think the first time I went there with Cody was for row 1.
Yeah, it was for row 1.
And we got done seeing the movie, Cody was like, my neck hurts. I was like, what? He's like, the screen is huge. I had to turn my head to see the whole thing. I was like, yeah, it's great.
I want to sidetrack for a little bit. I didn't see The Force Awakens in theaters, but so I made it my mission to see Rogue One before, or as it came out in theaters, and I was like, let's go big. I want to watch it in IMAX. I texted Felix. He was like, I already saw it. And I was like, do you want to watch it again?
And I told him we should go to the Tech Museum because that one's great. And he was like, I've never been there. I was like, yeah, we're going.
And so we went there, and it was a great time, but it was my first IMAX experience in a long time. So my neck...
It is a huge IMAX.
My neck did hurt, and it's bigger than most IMAX screens.
It is bigger than most IMAX screens.
And yeah, like Felix was saying, you have to look all across. It's because it's a dome. They use it for like planetarium stuff. And it's wonderful, but it hurts.
You have to pay for it.
Yeah. But it is a good experience. Yeah. It's just, it's just, I think this movie would look great on that screen because of the 4:3 aspect ratio. I still don't like it on the TV though.
All right, Felix, give us your final thoughts.
Back to the final thoughts. All right. Yeah. I would give this a 9.
Yeah?
As a huge DC fan, huge DC guy, the lore and everything, I feel like they did it. They did it right. They adapted it. They changed some stuff, yes. But I feel like they did it in a way that still was like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as a DC fan, I would give it a 9. As a normal guy, I think an 8.5. Probably, but for me, it's a 9.
No.
Because, I love the things they do in this movie. Like, Superman, Batman, you don't really need to do much with them. Everybody knows Superman, Batman. One woman, everybody knows one woman, but they did her right in this movie. They show her being who she is.
Yeah.
And again, with the Flash, I don't think they really need his origin story. Everybody knows what the Flash is. But they do his character justice in this movie. They build his character. They show you his flaws, what he wants. They give you what's happening with his dad and, what he's trying to do. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that for a Flash movie. Victor, Cyborg, they do the most. They do the most for him easily in this movie. And I'm like, that is fantastic. And it's great. The story is great. The Steppenwolf as a villain this time around was fantastic.
Yeah.
He works. He is menacing. He feels like a threat. So Superman comes. So
all until Superman comes.
All until Superman comes, yeah. And it's perfect. And the way they incorporate Darkseid and Apocalypse in this movie, because the first one, it's just like...
They do a name drop in the first one.
They drop Darkseid once. They don't mention Apocalypse. They don't mention anything. It's just he's a conqueror from other worlds and he brings the mother boxes. I'm like, you're about to say they're from Apocalypse, that they're technology of the gods, And in this one, they do a bunch, because he comes and he talks to Desage a whole bunch. He's like, even when he discovers the anti-life equation, Desage is like, are you serious? He's like, yes, it is here. And Darkseid shows up the first time and you see Steppenwolf. He's like, he literally see the fear in Steppenwolf.
Oh, the parademons too. When I saw the parademons like flocking,
because they kneel first. And Steppenwolf's looking at him like,
oh crap!
Like, is this happening? And he sees it. He sees his armor goes down. He takes his armor off. He looks up. He kneels. He's like, Darkseid, my lord.
Yeah,
and Darkseid's like, I'm like, that's Darkseid.
Darkseid doesn't even say anything, and Steppenwolf's like cowering in fear.
You see it in the face, and I love it. The ending, Well, they meet Darkseid in this movie, sort of.
They see him.
I say it's perfect though.
Yeah, the
Because
way they did it was
they cut Steppenwolf's head off and they throw it at him. Darkseid immediately steps on it and crushes. He's like, failure. And he looks at him. He's like,
yeah.
And the movie, it's a 9 for me.
Yeah, I would. My personal final thoughts. I would honestly, I'd give it a 9 too. It met all my expectations and exceeded them. And they did Darkseid just enough and great. Because that's what I was worried about. I'm like, are they going to bring Darkseid in? And
He looks great too.
Yeah, he looks like Darkseid.
great. I love how they have the Omega symbol on his chest.
It's like it's in his
Yeah,
chest.
like it's on his body. Like it's not just like on his belt or like
His
on
armor.
Yeah, on his armor. It's like on his body. I was like, oh, that's a cool detail.
And this is probably one of the coolest Darkseid appearances.
Yeah, because he shows up and like you already because like you don't meet Darkseid in this movie for a while. You see him, but you don't see him in the present tense. You see him in the flashback for Diana doing the history lesson to Bruce, and you see how crazy powerful Darkseid is. But you don't understand how much of a threat he is until Steppenwolf talks to him. Because in this whole movie, Steppenwolf's just going around slashing everybody, beating the Justice League before Superman shows up. Like, Steppenwolf's like a threat, a menace, like, and then all of a sudden Darkseid shows up and Steppenwolf's like pissing himself. And then you're like, whoa.
Yeah, quick note. I love how they show Apocalypse in this movie. Because you see Apocalypse.
Yeah.
When Darkseid starts walking away, and you see the side, you see Grand Goodness standing there with her giant club. I'm like, at the army of Parademons, I'm like, that looks like Apocalypse.
Yeah.
You see the giant hall, the pillars, the banners flying around. I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah, because near the movie's end, this is one of my personal favorite scenes in the entire movie. When the Justice League is just about done finishing off Steppenwolf, and Wonder Woman cuts Steppenwolf's head off. It goes through like a portal window. Wouldn't call it a boom tube.
It kind of looks like a bubble wrap tube.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a portal in sense, but Steppenwolf's head flings through the portal, and as soon as it does, Darkseid's boot just comes out of nowhere and steps on it and crushes it, and Darkseid's like, failure. And Visage is just like, I told you he wouldn't have done it, and then Darkseid's like, you're right. Ready the armies, we're gonna go in the old ways. Yeah.
On the boom tubes, I thought they did the boom tubes cool because it looks like a tube.
Yeah.
In the comic, it's just a circle portal that opens up. They call it a boom tube. And this one is like, it's an actual tube that they
Yeah. It was pretty cool too. They didn't all come out on the side. They all came out like the bottom of the tube and then went back up.
Go through the tube and stuff.
I think you made a great point earlier, Felix, about how they're adapting stuff from the comics, but they're changing it just a little bit. I think that's very important to do in the movies and the TV shows.
Yeah. Movies especially.
Because like for me with WandaVision, they took stuff from everything from that one Vision comic where they have a family, and then from House of M.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I thought that was a good kind of twist because it kind of keeps you guessing. But I think that comic book based things like movies, video games, TV shows, they all need to do that so that it's still kind of relatable. We still kind of know what's going on, but it takes it in a new direction.
Yeah, because it's a different medium. You can't tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's a great thing that this film did, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, I
love that.
I really want more. And I'm not huge, I love DC, but I'm not when I first saw Justice League, I was like, I don't want more.
See, I would want more, but I would want Zack Snyder, because he obviously knows his stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I would want another movie directed by him, but I think I would want more movies produced by him. Yeah. If you get what I'm saying.
No, kind of like how Kevin Feige does it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like Zack Snyder should be the Kevin Feige of DC.
Exactly.
I think he could do a lot of good. And then from occasion, give Zack Snyder a movie to do.
Because I want a Zack Snyder Apocalypse War or a Zack Snyder One Earth.
Real quick.
That they show in the end of here. I'm like, that's
so
a movie
what I would love to see Zack Snyder do is, so we didn't really touch on this scene, but at the end of the movie, you kind of see a vision of Batman in the future with the evil Superman in a apocalypse takeover world like Earth. And you see him with Mira, Cyborg, Deathstroke,
Deathstroke.
And
Deathstroke
Yeah,
was back, and he's one of my favorite
Yeah.
characters in DC.
And then all of a sudden, Joker comes up, and Batman and Joker kind of have this like dialogue with each other that I absolutely loved.
That dialogue was perfect. As a Batman
so
fan,
good.
as a Joker fan, I'm like, they did that perfect.
Yeah.
So
Batman even wins it too, and Joker's like, you got me again.
So when they first showed off the Jared Leto pictures, like him in the Jesus crown and all that stuff, I was like, how full of themselves are they that they're gonna show this? I was like, ew, this is not gonna be like good at all. And I still don't like Jared Leto's Joker laugh, but I did think that that little interaction was awesome. And then because Joker was making fun of Batman for all the people he's lost, and then he kind of
references for Jason Todd,
and he dug into the whole Jason Todd thing. And then Batman is like, yeah, well, when Harley Quinn was dying in my arms, she told me that, like, to kill you pretty much. And he's like, and I will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, and then I love how Joker looks into Batman's eyes and he's like, "You sent a boy wonder to do a man's job." I was like, "Oh,
that whole interaction is perfect."
Yeah.
Batman Joker scene.
That's the Joker I wish we got in Suicide Squad.
I know.
Oh my god!
They're
If he
so
did that, did that, he would still be the Joker.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the concept of Jared Leto as Joker, but the execution that they did in Suicide Squad was just not the move.
I like what they were going for.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't like the execution.
I like the whole gangster kind of thing, but it was just too cringe.
Yeah,
I would if you were a gangster, I would want you to be more of a mobster than like a hype beast kind of hood rat thing.
They were really leaning into the Joker Harley Quinn love thing. I'm like, that doesn't really exist. Yeah. Some comics it does, and I was like, I can if they do it right, I'm like, I can see.
Harley loves him, but
she loves him, but he just uses her as a tool.
I would want another Harley Quinn standalone movie that introduces Poison Ivy.
Oh boy!
And then
the Gotham Sirens,
and then they have the Gotham Sirens, and then they also have the love story, and then Poison Ivy can go into whatever Batman movie comes after or comes in a few years, whatever.
That's why they have like the Harley Quinn show.
So
yeah.
All right, guys. So that was our Justice League review. We're about to wrap
discussion.
it up. Yeah, that was our first movie review, and the next one we're going to be doing Godzilla vs. Kong. Oh, I cannot wait to do that one, and that will be in 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and then hopefully Black Widow whenever that comes out.
So if we're going to do the movie reviews, we'll probably dedicate. Maybe not a whole podcast to each review, just because Zack Snyder's Justice League was 4 hours and there was a lot to discuss.
I feel 4 hours was perfect, justified.
But yeah, this has been the Shenanigamers podcast. Give us a like, follow, and feedback. This has been Mark.
I'm Felix.
I'm Cody.
I'm Frank.
All right, thank you guys, and have a good day.